to do that. We good. Right. Evening, everybody, but it's early evening, and I've got a very special guest with me.
Hello.
Special feature from, to be honest, probably everybody that's watching this has probably already watched Whisky Wednesday and have come across from his videos across to watching these ones. But he was in the area today, and we're doing a bit of a kind of cameo appearance on each of our own channels, aren't
yeah, we? Indeed.
Multimedia crossover thing going on. So, you can look out for next week's Whisky Wednesday. I think it's going to be, isn't it? Which is very exciting. And we'll crack on with one for mine, which is we'll carry on with the American whiskies. And this particular one was I had to pay for this an extortionate 99 cents for a 10 cl bottle as well of Ancient Age. The iPad's miles away, so whether you can see that or what I'll do is I'm not going to cover Joe's face, but I will put the picture of the bottle about there so you can see what it looks like. So Ancient Age was launched in 1946 and it's made at what is now the Buffalo Trace Distillery, which is in Frankfort, not Frankfurt, Frankfort, Kentucky, which is here, which used to be called, at one point it was actually called the Ancient Age Distillery, but was also the W.L. Weller Distillery as well. So it's straight bourbon whiskey. It does actually say that it's aged for 36 months. This is their kind of standard bottling, and you're looking at over in the UK, Whisky Exchange was selling it for 24 quid. In the US, you're looking at, for the 75 cl bottle, frankly ridiculous $11. And if you want a 1.5 litre bottle of it, it will cost you $18.
That's stupidly cheap.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just like I want to kill myself, please. $20. So it's just nuts. There is Ancient Age is the standard one. They also do an Ancient Age and an Ancient Age 10 star. Now, the 10 star isn't a 10-year-old, but the Ancient Age, I'm going to get sick of saying ancient in a minute. You know when you say something too much and you just say nonsense. So the Ancient Age on its own is the 10-year-old, whereas the 10 star isn't, and it's 90 proof is the 10 star. Why it's 10 stars, I've no idea. Somebody might be able to put something on the comments to say why it is that 10 star is a particular term. So I will do my jigger and do my standards. I'm going to do more about the Buffalo Trace Distillery when I actually get to Buffalo Trace on its own. You can pour your own in your nice champagne glass.
Yeah, for some reason Ben only has one.
I've got one.
But Glencairn glass. And considering he's a whiskey lover, you'd expect him to have a whole selection, but no, one.
I know, yeah. But I've just got that one, so if I drop it, we're in big trouble. So what's the matter? My daughter's trying to get in on the act as well. Yeah, just stay in there or be quiet. You're going to be quiet, you promise? Yeah, she's not going to be quiet. So, ooh.
So this is technically Buffalo Trace stock.
Essentially, yeah.
There's some could argue it could even be Pappy. No,
well, I mean that's the thing is Buffalo Trace make Pappy. I mean, well, this isn't Pappy, but yeah, they do make the Van Winkle. So it's this is like Van Winkle Junior, I suppose you could call it, or the kind of the cousin that nobody talks about. There's something on the nose, and it's not quite nutty. It's a little vegetal, almost.
It's not quite sweet as you'd expect.
No, but it's like there's a weird sweetness that's kind of not off, but.
Do you think this is kind of rye heavy?
I would think so.
It's almost got that kind of piney.
That's it. Yeah, it's kind of a slightly pininess to it. But it's like a really sweet, sugary pine.
Yeah.
Almost like pine. Does pine have sap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go with that then. It's slightly unpleasant.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird, and it's not. Oh, this is unusual. It's actually like a. I'm not quite sure whether this is off type nose.
something a little bit. I don't know whether it's because it's in plastic. It shouldn't really matter because plastic's inert. But
I don't know.
There's a little bit plasticky, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not like you kind of get that kind of burnt plasticky-ness.
Yeah.
It's almost like a plastic that's been sat in the sun too long.
Yeah.
Okay. I swallowed too early, but I wasn't expecting an audience. It's got a little bit more than the early times had. There's not a great deal to it still, but there's not a bad. It's that weird vegetal plasticky-ness that's on the nose isn't actually there on the palate. I'm not getting it
Not
anyway.
so much, no. There's a little bit of spice in the finish, a little bit.
Slightly, yeah. Not a huge amount, but it's there. Quite a soft spice. There's a little bit of a carameliness, but not like a E150 caramel. It is actually kind of like smooth caramel. It's not awful.
No, but it's pretty nondescript, isn't it?
It is. There's not a lot to it. It's not too dissimilar to the early times in that there is a bitter flavour there, but overall it's quite thin and there's not a huge amount. There's arguably a little bit more to it than the early times, but we're talking minute degrees in terms of if you tried early times and then you tried this, you'd go, oh, there's quite a lot more flavour. But if you tried this and then another bourbon, you'd be going, there's no flavour on this whatsoever.
And I'm guessing at that price, most of this is mixing. It's not really meant to be taken seriously like we're doing it.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's predominantly cocktails, things like that, and it's got just about enough that it would hold its own for a cocktail. It would cut through enough, but it's not really. It's going to give you a slightly whiskey-ish flavour in the background.
Yeah, maybe like a whiskey sour would work. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
But I can't imagine that being good in an old fashioned. It'd be quite.
Nah, it's not got anything in it to go with an old fashioned because you want that bourbon character to come through. You want the whiskey in an old fashioned to dominate, whereas on something else like a sours, it's there in the background.
Sorry, down the wrong way.
Amateur, schoolboy. And again, as with the early times, at $11 a bottle, I wouldn't expect a lot more, to be perfectly honest.
True.
And it's not awful, it's not rough, it's not sharp, it's not paint stripper, it's not particularly spirity. So I if I was going in to buy an $11 bottle of whiskey, I would actually be quite happy with that, because I think there would be a lot worse for probably a bit more as well.
Yeah.
But I would be intrigued. No, actually, I wouldn't be intrigued. I'd be interested to see what maybe the ancient ages, like 10-year-old. But if you took that as a base and you aged that for another 7 years,
yeah,
is there really going to be that much more to it? Yeah, I can imagine it just getting even thinner. So yeah, it's all right. It's $11 a bottle. What do you expect? I gave him the good stuff, as you can probably tell. I don't do scores, but if you were going to give us a score, because you do on Whisky Wednesday.
Yeah, that's not much more than 6 out of 10 for me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 4.
No, it's not unpleasant. I think when you go past under 6, it starts getting unpleasant. It's a pleasant taste. It's just nothing.
There's nothing else to
nothing else to it.
6 out of 10. There you go. There you go, Buffalo Trace. You use that in your marketing. 6 out of 10, Whisky Wednesday. Cha-ching. So, yeah, cheers for that. Cheers for coming across.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
We shall have some dinner now.
Excellent.
And, I shall see you at the next one. Cheers. I've got to get all the way over here to turn off now. Miles away.
I could.